When we arrived in this community as missionaries, it was different than just going and witnessing and teaching a Bible study, but there was an empowerment that we felt immediately when we stepped foot here. We really felt like God had given us authority, dominion, and the strength that we needed to pursue the calling that God was leading us to build a great church. When we first showed up, there was a church that just said, you know, we can let you guys in here one time. And so we showed up, and I just really felt like God was saying, listen, we can pursue this relationship. I think there's more that we can do here. And turns out that there was an old sanctuary that was dormant in this building for probably the last 50 years. And so through the opportunity that we had with the grant fund, we were able to do some remodel work and a lot of sweat equity from our church members and community here, which was a wonderful opportunity for the church to get involved, working, building, expanding the kingdom of God. We did several different work days where we removed a bunch of flooring, got down to the concrete, were able to grind it down for a new surface, laid new carpet in our sanctuary area. We were able to get some chairs from another local church, and so we now have a sanctuary that can seat about 100 people. We're so thankful for what the grant fund has given us the opportunity for. Another great thing that the grant fund has provided for us is our 15-passenger van. For a very reasonable price, we were able to locate a van that was in great shape, and we got a new paint job on it thanks to the grant fund, and are working to get our decals made for our church logo so that we can advertise that in our community. But with that van, we have sustained a consistent family or two on a weekly basis because we had the opportunity to have that van. And so that has been absolutely impactful for our church. We actually took our youth group to youth convention last year for the first time. We packed out our van, and so having that van has been a major success point for us, and we're just so grateful as a church body that we have support from the Iowa District to help us to empower this church to reach the community and to have the resources necessary to be able to expand the kingdom.
This church started in 1996 with Bishop Smalljohn, Sister Smalljohn, Rachel, Jill, and Tim. They would leave Anamosa from a church that they were comfortable with, leave a church that they had loved ones and family members there. They would come to Tipton, to this farming community in Cedar County, to plant a church. What started with a small vision, Bishop and Sister Smalljohn, would well grow into the church building that we now sit in today. They would begin in their living room with services and Bible studies, and eventually they would move to the high school gym. Years later, my mother-in-law likes to joke, they would rent the space behind the liquor store in Tipton. And finally, God would bless this great church with a building in 2004. The blessings of God have always been on this church, and in 2016, the Lord made a way and our building was completely paid off. And once I was voted in as pastor, I continued in the vision of growth and of harvest that Bishop Smalljohn instilled in me and in my life. About 3 years ago, we cast vision for a new sanctuary, a new worship center on the south side of our building. It's going to be about 6,300 square feet. We're going to be digging a basement, and those were the long-term goals. We began a capital campaign and people were giving to it. But earlier last year, we started to see that our congregation and our youth department, our Sunday school department, were starting to outgrow our space, and we were reaching a place that we really needed more space, and we needed it really fast, much faster than we had saved for up until that point. And so I met with the board and I began to petition the grant fund Before now, all the grant fund was to me was an offering that we were faithful to because the need was there. Was an offering that we saw once a year at district convention, and we gave to that offering because we believe in missions. We believe in the needs of churches being fulfilled. And when the district came alongside and they offered some funding from the grant fund, that seed money gave us an opportunity to right away start an addition and an expansion to Hope Church. Where I'm sitting right now today was once our fellowship hall. And because of the grant fund, we were able to take the wall down from the fellowship hall, expanding the sanctuary. A sanctuary that used to seat about 140 people now can sit well over 200. We were able to build a 1,350 square foot addition on our building that now houses our youth department and our Sunday school department. The Lord blessed us with the means and the help to build that addition in 51 hours. In 51 hours, we saw the miraculous take place. In 51 hours, God moved on the people that were helping this church. This didn't all start because of me. This didn't all start because of Hope Church. It started because of the grant fund. It was the grant fund that offered that hope. It was the grant fund that offered that seed. It's one thing for a pastor to cast vision for his church. The pastor goes before his congregation in prayer and with that vision to his people, knowing what they desire to do, knowing what God is leading them to do. But it's another thing when a district will come alongside that church with the same vision. They'll come along the side of that church with the same desire to see harvest, the same desire to see revival. And it's through there where the grant fund comes alongside and helps to fulfill the vision of the pastor, helps to fulfill the vision of the church. I've seen it over and over and over again now that I understand the grant fund, now that I have a love for what it's doing and a love for Iowa like I've had for so many years that I've been in this district. Please consider supporting this great effort, supporting hope that it gives to pastors across this great district. Please consider the grant fund.